Welcome back to the Walnut. We have done a number of questions in deductions area. Now we have a question in front of us. All rivers are not dams. Only huge are dams. These are premises. What do you mean by premise? Well, premise means it's a statement. But every competitive exam, if you look at the questions, rather than the statements, they give you the word premise. Well, the first premise or first statement we have, all rivers are not dams. Well, all rivers are not dams. We are familiar with four types of standard statements. All, some, no, and some not. However, this is the first time we see a statement which is having all and a not. This is an all not statement. Well, if you have a statement which doesn't come in the category of all, some, no, or some not, then we have to convert the statement into that standard category or a standard statement. So which are the standard statements? All, some, no, and some not. Now we need to convert this all not statement into a standard statement. Well, what is all not? Is it all? Is it some? Is it no? Or is it some not? Naturally, you may think all not is equivalent to some not, but it is not. So the best way to deal with this kind of question, what we do is draw a diagram of this all not statement. What's this all not statement? All rivers are not dams. So we'll draw the diagram of all rivers. All rivers. We have all rivers in this Venn diagram. All rivers are not dams. Well, all of these rivers are not dams. So dam is something separate. See that dam is something separate. There is no intersection between river and dam. The reason for that, all rivers are not dams. All rivers here, they are not dams. So dam is something which is separate. So river and dam, there must be no intersection at all. So what is it? If there is no intersection between one group and the other group, what kind of statement it is? It's a no statement. No rivers are dams. So all not means what? No. So every time you see an all not statement, what do you have to do? Instead of that all not statement, use no statement. No. No rivers are dams. So this is what the actual statement we have. Rather than all not statement, no rivers are dams. Now we'll look at the second statement we have right here. It's only huge are dams. Again, this is the first time we see a only statement. What's an only statement? Among our four standard statements, all, some, no, and some not, we don't have an only statement. So we need to convert this only statement into a standard statement. So only huge are dams. How do you convert it? So which one is equivalent to only statement? Is it all statement? Is it some statement? Is it no statement? Is it some not statement? Let's check it out. The first thing we may think, you know what, all. Only huge are dams means all huge are dams. Only huge are dams, that is equivalent to all huge are dams. However, we need to check it out before we finalize it. How do we check it? Draw a Venn diagram for all huge dams. All huge are dams. Now, look at the original statement we have, only huge are dams. Only huge are dams. only huge are dams. So this case, we have something which is other than huge, which comes in the category dams. See that? Only huge must be dams. But here we have something outside the huge, that is dams as well. So that is not possible. That means while all huge are dams, it's not equivalent to only huge are dams. So this diagram is not correct. Now how about we change it. All dams are huge. Rather than all huge are dams, all dams are huge. Again, in order to confirm it, we need to check it out with the Venn diagram. All dams are huge means all dams must be huge. This would be the diagram. Well, all dams are huge. This is what the diagram, and we need to check it with our original statement. Only huge are dams. There is no single dam which is not huge. All dams are huge. That means only huge. Only huge can be dams. No little can be dams. That is what it is. Only huge can be dams. That means all dams are huge. Ultimately, this diagram, yes, that represents only huge are dams. That means only huge are dams is equivalent to what? All dams are huge. All dams are huge. Only means this is equivalent to all dams are huge. So ultimately, when you see an only statement, you just strike it off and convert that into an all statement. In that all statement, the subject of the only statement must be the predicate, and the predicate of the only statement must be the subject. So that's a major difference. The only statement, when you convert into a standard statement, that's an all statement, while the subject of the only statement must be the predicate, and predicate of the only statement must be the subject. So only huge are dams must be equivalent to what? All dams are huge. Now, we'll draw the diagram, the basic diagram for the second statement. What's the second statement? All dams are huge. So all dams must be huge. So dams are here, and we need to draw the huge. All dams must be huge. This is what the huge circle. All dams must be huge. Well, that is what the basic diagram for all not and only statement, right? So all not is equivalent to what? No statement. And only is equivalent to what? An all statement. The difference, the only statement, the subject of only statement must be the predicate of all statement, and the predicate of the only statement must be the subject of all statement. Alright, so that is what exactly we have right here. Now, we'll take a conclusion here. So we have statements here. We'll take a look at the conclusion and how do we solve that conclusion. Well, look at the conclusion we have here. No huge are rivers. When we get a conclusion, what's the first thing we do? Compare that conclusion with the basic diagram. If you haven't looked at the earlier videos, I suggest you to go back to the earlier videos. That means especially deduction number 3, 4, 5 and 6 in order to get an idea about how this conclusion is verified with the basic diagram. Now look at it. No huge are rivers. No huge here. They are rivers. There is no intersection between huge and rivers. So there's no huge are rivers. Correct. So it is valid for the basic diagram. If a conclusion is valid for the basic diagram, if it is a positive conclusion, that follows. But in this case, it's a negative conclusion. If it is a negative conclusion, valid for the basic diagram, what we need to do? Negate it. When you negate it, no conclusion must be some. So, well, no huge are reversed. When you negate it, some huge are reversed. Some huge are reversed. That means the huge must intersect with the reverse. So we need to draw a new diagram. How do we draw a new diagram? Reverse and we draw huge. The huge and reverse are intersecting. At the same time, we have one more term missing here in our basic diagram. What is it? Dam. Well, what is the connection? Dam is connected with huge, but dam is not connected with reverse. Okay, we'll bring that exact relation here. Well, D, dam is related with the huge. All dams are huge. We'll bring it right here. All dams are huge. At the same time, from the basic diagram, we know that, see that the first statement, no rivers are dams. So river and dam cannot intersect. So this case, river and dam are not supposed to intersect. So river is not really intersecting with a dam. So this is what the new diagram we have. Now we check the existence of this new diagram with the given set of statements. We have two statements. The first statement, no rivers are dams. That's correct. No rivers are dams. Perfectly all right. Now second statement, this is the only statement. We converted that into an all statement. So what the second statement? All dams are huge. All dams are huge. Perfectly all right. So this diagram, new diagram, doesn't violate any of the given statements. That means this diagram exists. If this diagram exists, this diagram is drawn based on the negated conclusion. Correct? So if negated conclusion, this diagram exists, negated conclusion is valid. If negated conclusion is valid, that means our original conclusion is invalid for this new diagram. We'll check it. The original conclusion is no huge are rivers. No huge are rivers. But here, well, some huge are rivers. And this diagram exists as well. That means our original conclusion, even though it is valid for the basic diagram, it doesn't follow. So that would be the final answer for this conclusion. Well, in the actual exam, you may have more than one conclusion for this type of questions. Every time you see all not or only type of statement, convert it into a standard statement. It could be all not, it could be only, it could be none, whatever it is. If it is not a standard statement, convert that into a standard statement, then go forward. Hope you got it. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to click subscribe and share